Welcome to The Favorites, the podcast presented by Bet365. We are part of the Volume Podcast Network. I am Chad Millman of the Action Network. We are live from our Tommy John home studios. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, my companion, my compadre, my BFF professional bettor, Simon Hunter. Hello, Simon.
Hello, Chad. What a great day, my man.
Dude, as we teased earlier this week, today we have a very special guest. It is rare that we have an in-season guest on the favorites. In fact, it is unprecedented since Simon and I started hosting the show together. But it's also rare we get an opportunity to chat with someone like this guest we have coming on. He's a best-selling author, a producer, a comedian, generally one of the most popular New York sports fans across the entire internet, even though he doesn't even live in New York anymore. Plus, he's a gambler, just like us. Coming off the first season of his new show, 7 p.m. in Brooklyn with Carmelo Anthony. Please welcome the kid Mero.
Hey,
Thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me, guys. You know what I mean? Shout out to you. I love this because, like I said, I am a gambler, and I don't know if I should be saying this on air. My publicist has left the Zoom, so I'm gonna say it. I used to gamble before the apps, so when the apps, I was like, wow, I do not have to go to see a guy named Little Tony anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
And
listen,
but
when
it's great.
you grew up in the Bronx and like you're hanging around bodegas, that's how it used to be, right?
Yep.
And we've talked about this on the show. And since gambling became legal, there's a lot of things that are really interesting about it being legal, but obviously it's great for us and it's great for our business and it's great for transparency and it's great for sort of responsible gaming. But tell us about how you got into it growing up where you did and what that experience was like for you.
It was just like a thing you kind of just get into. You know what I mean? Like if you're just also like I think what kind of got me, I mean, friends, you have friends that gamble or like, it's like I don't want to like make it sound like a horrible thing, but it's like fucking weed, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you're just hanging around and shit. Like somebody's smoking weed, they're like, yo, you want to hit this weed? I'm like, all right. And you hit it, you're like, wow, this bowl game is way more interesting now. Like I'm way more interested in San Diego State, you know what I mean, than I am usually. You feel me? So it was kind of that, and it did what I like to do with everything, which it gamifies stuff, right? It gives you like I said, some skin in the game. Like if you're watching the Tostitos Bowl and you didn't go to like Oklahoma State, you don't give a shit. But if you got some action, you know what I mean? Like now you're very invested in the outcome of this game. You know what I mean? Like to the point where you're taking your hat on and off your head multiple times during the game. You know what I mean? Like sweating, like you're more, it makes sports sportsier, if that even makes sense.
What is your theory on, I know you love the Giants, betting the Giants, betting against the Giants? A lot of people have different feelings when it comes to their personal team.
I do not. I'm not one of those guys. I am a businessman first. I think with my head, the big one. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not foolish enough to do anything gambling wise regarding the Giants except bet against them and bet on like Malik Neighbors touches. You know what I mean? As like prop bet. You know what I mean? Like that's where I'm at. You know what I mean? Like I could if talk about gambling, I was like bet the house on Saquon having the game of his fucking life against the Giants coming back. And voila. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, nah, like, dog, like I am bet against, bet for. It's all what are we seeing? Like, what's the landscape? You know what I mean? I don't bet with my emotions. You know what I mean? I bet with my brain, which is how you should bet.
Well, by the way, you should bet that way. Not everybody does.
Yeah.
When I was
Sorry,
running
Mets fans.
ESPN the magazine way back in the day, Eli Manning, we did a Hall of Fame issue. We put Eli Manning on the cover of the issue and said, this is why Eli Manning should be a Hall of Fame quarterback. Why is he a Hall of Fame quarterback to you? And how do you argue that to anyone who thinks otherwise?
I mean, number one, the numbers speak for themselves, right? Number two, it's like David and Goliath story, bro. This is the only guy, I mean, Nick Foles did it too. This is the only guy who ate Tom's cookies twice. You know what I mean? And as we all know, this is a gambling podcast. They were favorites going into either of those matchups. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, come on, the guy, and again, the phrase fourth quarter Eli, you know what I'm saying? Or like second half Eli is a real thing. Like this guy would just turn it on and make some plays that you'd be like, bro, what the fuck? Also, he's a Manning, dog. Like, put Arch Manning in the Hall of Fame already. Just like the entire Manning like lineage, just put them all in the Hall of Fame. Have a wing for them. Call it the Manning wing, you know what I mean? Like, and just put them all there because they're like a football family, bro. They're like the Griffeys of football. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, you know, he belongs there. Okay, guys, I'm not just saying that as a homer. I am, you know what I mean? I'm obviously biased, but the guy, he turned it on when he had to. He was a gamer in the playoffs. The passing yards are out of this world. You know what I mean? I think he's one of with him. Like, he missed having a 5,000 yard season by like 30 yards or something like that. Like almost, you know. But yeah, I did almost think.
Off the top, though, I think you nailed it as a Giants fan. Where even if you take away the numbers, think about what he meant to football, right? I mean, that's some of the most historical plays for the rest of my life. Who the hell remembers David Tyree? You got to be a true football fan, right? That's your guy's third receiver. He's a household name forever. Like, those are the kind of moments we live for. So it seems like you're a pretty rational Giants fan. And, you know, I saw an amazing quote you had before the season. Your hopes for the Giants season, the preseason, you said, basically, if an asteroid hit Pennsylvania, the Giants would do well, is your direct quote. How are you feeling right now, and like how are you viewing the season? Are you just counting the days till you guys can draft a new quarterback? Or are you already over the whole Daniel Jones experience this year?
Bro, I don't even call him Daniel Jones, bro. He's Woody from Toy Story. Okay. He is Woody from Toy Story. He has the same like kind of like rabbit-eyed, you know what I mean? Like just like scared look. It like I don't want to. I feel like putting his name in the same sentence as Eli is a bad look. But in the early days of the Daniel Jones experience, I was like, oh, you know what? It's just the O-line. That's what happened to Eli at the tail end of his career. It's
because of that Tampa game, that first game he played. Remember the first game he played? His best game of his career.
So it's just like, bro, wow. Like, hey, this guy's off to a crazy start. That insane run where I was just like, oh, this guy's a mobile quarterback? Whoa. Like, no, you're not mobile, bro. You run fast in a straight line. And then you trip over your shoelaces, you know, before you get in the end zone. So it's like, I'm out of here. Also, fam, like my scalp is getting hot just thinking about this. I don't ever want to see a front office guy draft a quarterback from any conference that is not the SEC or the Big Ten, bro. Stop. Never draft a quarterback from a basketball school ever again, dog. Gettleman, thank God you're out of here. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, bro, I was about to ask you, what is the recipe for the crack that you smoke? Because drafting, I was watching that draft and I was just like, as soon as they called that name, I was like, Saquon is gone. Saquon is gone, and or his career is like you're throwing it in, it's like Barry Sanders. You know what I mean? Like, no shots to Barry Sanders. Hall of Famer, Hall of Fame career. Never won. You know what I mean? So it's just like, bro, this is the fate that awaits Saquon if this is the guy under center for him. You know what I'm saying? So I'm totally out on the experiment. I'm over it. I'm done. I've been done for like a year and change already. I was the one that was like holding out, still being like, yo, it's the O-line. It's the O-line. It's the O-line. Bro, it's not the O-line. It's not the fucking O-line. If you're looking at it, bro, I coach Pee-wee football, and I'm like, do not stare down your receiver, bro. Don't stare at the guy that you're going to throw the ball at, because everybody on the defense is like, oh, that's where the ball's going over here. He saw the ball, and he did that. I forgot what, I'm trying to remember what game it was. He did it. It was like, and they highlighted it, and I was just like, he does that all the time. That's not good quarterback play. I feel like I'm going on a rant now, guys. So give me something. Otherwise, I'm going to start sweating and become violently angry because
Well,
this guy sucks.
one thing, I love how you just threw in there. I coach Pee Wee football because it reminds me like one of my good friends in New York who was my boss at one point. We would be closing the magazine on a Sunday afternoon and have all these football stories in here. And some of them were written by actual NFL players. They'd be breaking down plays and whatever. And he'd be like, I don't know if this makes sense. Because when I play in my touch football league on the Upper West Side in the park on Saturday afternoons, we don't run it like this. So I like how you were taking your suburban New Jersey offensive line coaching skills and translating them to analyzing the ineptitude of the New York Giants football offensive line.
Yo, by the way, I have a leg to stand on because the guys that are in that, in that huddle are NFL guys. You know what I mean? Like they are actual guys. So I'm getting information from the pros. You know what I mean? It's not Kevin the plumber. You know what I mean? Like telling me, hey, if you crash the safety, if you blitz the safety every time, they're just gonna throw the ball back there. You know what I mean? I was like, I know that guy. You know what I mean? I know that. I've played Madden once or twice. So.
Yeah.
Like this is all obvious type of knowledge, but like there's little things, man, that you pick up, and it's like when you see it at a professional level. Like, listen, I'm a Yankee fan. That play between Leiter and Rizzo at first base, where they both didn't know what the fuck to do, and the ball goes between Rizzo's legs. I'm like, listen, I also coach 9U baseball. You're getting benched for that. You're getting benched for that. I'm looking at them immediately. Who we got here? Rodriguez, go get out there. Because it's like, bro, what are we doing here? This is basic stuff. You know what I mean? So I'll say that much.
It's like when I wake up this morning with a hoarse voice and my wife turns into the greatest internet doctor who has ever lived because she is in her phone. Here's why you have a hoarse voice. Here's what I think you need to do. She's figured
Sweetheart,
it all out.
You have walking pneumonia. You're going to die in a week. You have fluid in your lungs.
It's been good knowing you. Can you make sure the will is up to date?
Well, Mero knows someone that smokes weed. I can't tell how many times I've self-diagnosed myself dying, Chad. Where like I'm high and like, oh my God, is my heart skipping a beat right now? Or is my leg numb? That's the worst part with the internet, like, looking up.
My face feels weird. It's like, bro, you're stoned.
Yeah.
Go eat a peanut butter and jelly and just calm down. Like, it's it. Relax.
Now,
like,
this is a betting show.
Waiters ate an edible and like panicked on the plane. They had to like emergency land the plane. I'm like, that's insane, bro. It's weed. Like, relax. Food and take a nap.
Yeah, with us, me and Chad, we're both degenerate bettors. So I got to hear some of the good betting stories. My favorite, dumbest bet, stupid things I've done was when I first moved back to Jersey. This before all my boys were married, and I had a buddy who had an older brother who had a kid on a baseball team. So this park was right by my house. We used to go get a cooler, sit out back, drink, and bet on sixth grade baseball. I literally did it for a whole summer. So I knew these teams. I was good at it. And I had a professional bettor come visit me. And I was like, let's go watch some Little League and bet on it. Why not? We got nothing else going on. And I was thinking, I was pulling a fast one on this guy. I was like, yeah, I'll give you 2.5 runs for $1,000, right? So this guy's a big run line on me. I was like, this team's going to get rolled. They're going to win by 10. Little did I know, I got worked, right? They had this kid who was a pitcher, couldn't get a hit off him in 6 innings. They won like 6-0. I would love to hear, do you got any like crazy degenerate stories like that where you're just making crazy side bets, or are you just always betting on like professional?
Bro, this wasn't even my bet. Just hearing this, it was insane to me. Because like, like you said, like you're betting on Little League baseball. Like, so I'm sitting, and this is like, again, like pre-app days, right? When you had to like call a phone.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there with my boy, and he's just like, he's got the itch, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's just like looking for action on something. So we're sitting there, and this is like early days of Netflix, where it's like DVD, and like they're just introducing streaming. So we're sitting there, and I'll never forget this, because we're watching a horrible like Sylvester Stallone movie, like just randomly pick a random movie on Netflix, and he's sitting there, he's just super quiet. He just grabs his phone, he's just like, yeah, can you get me the line on Penn State women's volleyball? I was like, Penn State women's volleyball, dog. What? I was like, it's like Wednesday night. Like, what? What? Then there was another time. This was crazy. This is like one of those because gambling, bro. When you win, that dopamine hit is like absolutely control. It's like out of control.
Yeah, it's tough. It's one of those when you win those bets, you can't go to sleep that night, right?
Yeah, no, like my
You're just
doing this weird
floored.
Thing. So Steve Francis is on the Knicks, right? This is like end of Steve Francis's career, and I'm with my friend Chris in his basement. He has action on this game. I do not. The Knicks need 2 points to cover the spread. They're losing. They're gonna lose. Like they're down like 22 or something. Spread's like 22 and a half or something dumb. Steve Francis checks into the game with like 10 seconds left for no reason at all, other than like he loves us, or he also has the same like bookie. Launches a half court three, splash. No reason, bro. Like they're still losing, but like, bro, that was the hugest. Like jumped up, head hit the ceiling. Yeah, like you like random, like middle of the season, bro. No reason to be excited about this at all. Steve Francis chucks up a three to cover, and it's like that was the next championship. You know what I mean? For your boy. You know what I'm saying? And like, man, I got so many of like just kind of like weird Michael Jordan-ish stories where it's just like, hey, I bet you I could do this. You know what I mean? Like, which is technically not like, wagering, but it is like betting. Like, I bet I could do this. But man, that Penn State thing, it lives in my mind, bro. Like that, don't get me talking, bro. Shout out to my boy Jimmy. My boy Jimmy one time, I think this was a Dodgers Padres game, right? He had like a 6-leg parlay going, and like everything hit except this Padres Dodgers game, which obviously is on West Coast time. He stayed up late to watch it. He's watching it, and he had the Dodgers or something like that. And they're like getting, I'm like, I could be butchering the story because this was like years ago. But the matchup was Padres Dodgers. They're down like 6 runs in like the 6th inning or 7th inning or something like that. He's just like, bro, my parlay's cooked, bro. Fuck it. I'm going to bed. I got work early the next morning. Dodgers come up. First guy up, blow, home run. Next guy up, blow, home run. Next guy up, blow, home, like homer after homer after homer after like 4 homers in a row. Now my boy is calling him up, like, yo, bro, this is about to happen. This is about to happen. And it doesn't happen. Like they fall short by like a run. And it's like, he's like, bro, why did you even fucking like you woke me up? I started watching the game only to like, like edge. You know what I'm saying? Like this much. And I was just like, damn, bro. I was like, listen, that's why that's why I'm like superstitious about like no hitters and shit like that. Like, I'm like, yo, if I bet the under or the whatever I bet on this game, do not fucking talk about it while we're watching the game. Okay? Yo, if he hits this three, he's gonna go, don't shut up. Because he's not gonna hit the three. There's only 4 seconds left. He's not gonna hit a three. It's gonna stay under. So I'm very superstitious with the episode.
Sounds like you're hanging out with a lot of mush who could just quash all of your bets. I got to say, I think the dumbest bet I might have ever made was betting the Raiders plus 10 about 2 hours before the Chiefs traded for DeAndre Hopkins about 24 hours ago. It's always the worst bet is always the last bet that you made until it actually wins. You actually, talking about the Giants, were able to announce a draft pick for the Giants. How did that come about? What was it like? Tell people who you drafted or announced and the experience of being on the stage.
So that was like immediately coming off the end of my talk show on Showtime. My agent, shout out to Ryan Drazen, he was like, hey, you want to do the NFL draft? And I was like, hell yeah, I want to do the NFL draft, dog. Do they want me to do the NFL draft? He was like, yes, they do. I was like, let's do it. So I get there, and this is the funny part. I get there, it's 1,000,000 degrees, right? It's Vegas, obviously. It's a gazillion degrees. I go out there, and I'm backstage, right? So I'm in like the green room area. There's a bunch of like old retired guys there. I saw Chris Carter, bro, like all these guys. I'm like, wow, like, this is like historical NFL guy. Dan Marinara's there. Dan Marinara, Viking legend, is announcing the pick before me, right? So he goes up there, and I don't know who had the idea to have an open bar in the green room of a bunch of NFL dudes, but it was a bad idea because Dan Marinara went up there and allegedly, as far as I could tell, was shit faced. So he went up there and he was just like, "Hey guys, yeah, when I got to Minnesota, I said, boy, is it cold here. I hated it." So anyway, like I was saying, I got to the NFL back when the helmets were made out of leather, and I'm just like, bro, this guy's just like rambling. You're supposed to, it's like 30 seconds, brother. You go up there, hey, I'm Dan Marinara. I did this, that, the third. I won the Super Bowl, yada, yada. And then you announce the pick. The producer, whoever's like producing this thing is like this like 5'2", like, like little shy little mousy white girl. I'm just like, she's looking at me like I'm ready to go. Like I'm behind the curtain ready to go. She's looking at me, she's looking at him, she's looking at me, she's looking at him, she's looking at me, she's looking at him. I'm like, are you the producer? Are you running the show here? She's like, yeah, I don't know what to do. I was like, go out there. I grabbed I was like Pee Wee coaching. This is where it comes in handy. I was like, listen to me. You go out there and you get him off that stage. This is your show. You're running it. Go out there and tell him he's talking too goddamn much. So she goes out there and I'm like lip reading, trying to the John Boy. I'm lip reading. And she tells him, like, get the fuck off stage. Like, now. And so then he's like, I've been told to get off stage. I'm talking. I'm being long-winded. Then he gets off and I come on. And I announce stud wide receiver Wan'Dale Robinson out of Kentucky. You know what I mean? Which, again, like, it goes against my don't draft football guys from a basketball school. But this is not a quarterback. This is a wideout. So it's fine because he was in the gym with the basketball guys doing basketball things,
Also an SEC
allegedly.
guy. SEC guy. Still.
Also, you know what I'm saying? So it does right. The cross section it hits, it checks my boxes. It doesn't check all of them, but it checked one. SEC, good, great. Not a quarterback. Also checks the box.
Now, I'll just say off the top, I am so jealous of your new show, man. Like, I grew up, I'm a 6 years guy. I'm from Philly. I love you, Chad. I'd get rid of you like tomorrow if I could get a show with AI. Honestly, I would love to shoot the show with AI. I would love to know what's your experience like, man. You're breaking down, a show with Carmelo Anthony. Is that surreal? How's that going? I know their first season was amazing.
Yeah, man, it's great, bro. It's like you said, like, it's like I am a diehard, born and bred Knicks fan from the cradle, bro. Like, my uncles were putting me up in front of the TV, like Yankees, Knicks, Giants. That is the Trinity. You know what I mean? Like, so I was like locked in.
Thank God it wasn't Mets and Jets.
Oh, bro.
You dodged the bullet.
Woo! Like, you know what I mean? Like, Euro step that, you know what I mean? And it's funny because like my dad wasn't even like a hardcore Yankees guy. He was just a super Tony Pena fan. So I could have been I could have been like a Pirates fan or some shit. You know what I mean? Like it could have been weird for me. Tony ended up being the coach for the Yankees, which worked out. But sitting down with Melo, like having had the experience of like me myself as like, a sports fan and a betting man, you know what I mean? Watching the 62-point game at the Garden, like, no, like, bro, you hit the over by yourself. Like, this is amazing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you covered by your damn self. You know what I mean? Like, but, just watching him like like just picking his brain, bro. Because there's a lot of moments, like you said, like if you could sit down with AI, I'm sure there's like moments that you like are iconic AI moments. Like, yo, bro, when you stepped over Ty Lue like that, bro, what was going through your head? You know what I mean? Like there's stuff like that where I'm just like, you had to know that you were going after LeBron. Like when you didn't go after LeBron, what, you know what I mean? Talk me through that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a question that I want to know just as a fan. And I know that other fans want to know. You know what I mean? So like the opportunity to be the fan that is also like driving this car, you know what I mean, is amazing, bro. Like to sit down with him and be able to just like go through all this stuff and get it straight from the source. Like, right? Like it's not like a beat reporter that followed the Knicks. It's the guy giving the story straight from the horse's mouth. So, and the access that you get is insane, bro. Like we went to Vegas, for Team USA stuff, and I'm like, bro, we're over here at the UNLV practice center, bro. Like that's Joel Embiid shooting threes, like with his left hand. This is crazy. Like, and I'm just here in the mix, like it's really super dope. And Melo is a very New York guy. You know what I'm saying? Like he's Baltimore, Brooklyn, but he is so Brooklyn, bro. It's like he sweats Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? Like it works. It's peanut butter and jelly. There's two New York guys. I'm like, yo, hey, wow, loud guy, and he's just more like, yo, hey, come on, champ. You know what I mean? Like more like cool, laid back, and I'm just like, yeah. So it's just like the yin and the yang of New York sports.
It's interesting because Melo, I feel like his reputation mellowed as he got older with the Team USA success. Even like post New York stuff, he became a guy who people saw as being more personable. And I think in New York, even though he's a legendary Knick, there was still like a lot of love hate there with him. Like how has your perception of him changed from when you were just a fan and he was the only thing worth watching for the Knicks to now later in his career and now doing the show with him?
Well, that's the thing. It's like my opinion. I almost have more. I have the respect level has always been there because it's like, yo, you're coming to New York, right? And I think that the weirdness around him was because Knicks fans we're very stupid and irrational. You know what I mean? Like we thought Frank Ntilikina was going to be the future. You know what I mean? Like so when they let go of Wilson Chandler, right? Danilo Gallinari, I forgot who else left in that trade, but it was like, a bunch of guys that were like, favorites, right? Like this like young upstart Knicks team, like, and it's just like, bro, let's be real here. Like, you know what I'm saying? They're not beating like the big teams. You know what I mean? They're not beating like the juggernaut teams. They might make a little run and excite us. You know what I mean? Like, hey, Mets fans, you know what I mean? But like, they're not gonna go all the way. You know what I mean? So like, what are we really doing here? We don't have a guy. We haven't had a guy since Pat. So when they got Melo, I was very like, yo, yes, fuck, we finally have a guy. You know what I mean? Like that's like, yo, this is the guy. We're gonna sell 1 million of these jerseys. Again, like you said, like there's a reason to watch these games. Like that, like 2005, 2006, 04, 05, 06 era. Bro, I was watching those games for two reasons: to see if they would cover and to see if Jamal Crawford would cross somebody over. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he fucked Kirk Heinrich up. Like, go Google that. Just go YouTube. Jamal Crawford, Knicks, Kirk Heinrich. He spun him around crazy. It's one of the craziest moves I've seen to this day. He threw his ball over the glass to himself. Like, I'm watching for this, right? So now we got Melo, and it's like, we finally have a guy. So to answer your question, it's the same level of like esteem and respect. But now it's like, it's kind of like shifted into like, yo, I've been doing entertainment for like damn near like 2 decades. You know what I mean? So watching him grow into that space has been dope to watch. You know what I mean? Like as an interviewer, as a like media guy, as a like, hey, here's a question that I just thought of. You know what I mean? It's not in the prompter. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's watching that. It's like I imagine it's like him watching his kid play basketball. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, damn, okay, like wow, you're really developing. Like like you're improving as a media personality. And then also you have all these crazy stories, dog. You know what I mean? That like haven't seen the light of day because, like you said, like when he was with the Knicks, he wasn't really like a super like, hey, I'm gonna spill like I'm an open book, like in post games or whatever. Because New York media, it could be very unforgiving.
Yeah, I felt very combative. It felt like every week he was the back page of the Post.
Oh
Something he did, something he said had pissed somebody off, and somebody was going to write a story about it. I
yeah,
love the
and they'll spin
title
it. Yeah.
of the show, 7 p.m. in Brooklyn. I love that title. How'd you guys come up with that? Where did that come from?
Man, that was like literally like just us, like people were sitting in a Zoom. Like, what about this? What about this? What about this? I like that. That sounds dope. You know what I mean? It kind of like sets a like it gives you like a visual, right? Like 7 p.m. in Brooklyn. Like it's like, the sun is setting, dusk, you know what I mean? Like people are hanging out. There's still like stuff. It's New York City, so there's stuff going on. There's still motion. People still outside. There's conversations happening. This is like the in front of the bodega in the barbershop conversation about, whatever, is going on. It just felt right.
So before we let you go, we got to know, how would you think you and Melo would perform against this offensive line the Giants got? You guys getting sacks?
Oh, bro, listen. I'm working with as a Pee Wee coach. All we do is work on rip and swim. Okay, that first step, one technique, two technique, three technique, get in the right technique. Make sure the 3-point stance is good. It should be so that if you move your hand, you fall down. That's how much you should be. Your ass is up. The low man wins. You know what I mean? So I'm getting at least 2.5. I'm putting the line at 2.5 on this line, bro. And I'm doing the sexy Dexy dance after, just to be like, extra disrespectful.
That is an aggressive line for you too. I would say, and I feel like it's low for this Giants offensive line. That's what I mean by aggressive. It's a little bit low. You guys could run some wicked stunts.
Some stunts, You
guys. Also, the Giants
blitzes.
offensive line, they'd be so wowed. They'd be like asking you about the AOC interview. They'd be asking Melo about like that time he won the gold medal with LeBron. Like they'd just
the banana boat. Got to ask about the banana boat.
Yeah, they'd be like, let's reenact the banana boat before we actually run the play.
I'm ripping through the whole line like, yo, Obama was actually really cool in person. Denzel was a very humble guy.
That's how bad it's gotten for the New York Football Giants. But look,
hey, we'll be back.
You got the Knicks who almost stayed within 30 of the Celtics last night, and you got the Yankees in the World Series to break your heart against the Dodgers.
Well, this is a team of destiny. This team is being led by another biracial angel. Not Derek Jeter, not my Lord and Savior, Jeter Christ, but Aaron Judge. Okay? And I am a Dominican, so Juan Soto de lo mío, you know what I'm saying? He's gonna take us over the top, papi. Let me tell you something. The Dodgers, Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, we're gonna make sushi out of Shohei Ohtani, papi. That's what I'm gonna tell you right now. We're gonna make sashimi out of him. Okay? Because Juan Soto, placata. It's plátano power all the way, papa. That's what it's gonna take us all the way. Shout out everybody. I wanna give a shout out to you, to Simon. I wanna give a shout out to Chad. I wanna give a shout out to the guys. And make sure you tune in to 7 p.m. in Brooklyn on YouTube. And also Victory Live, because I'm there as well. The Mero is here, Papa.
I don't even want to say goodbye. Mero, 7 p.m. in Brooklyn, like he just said. Thanks for coming on the show, brother. Great to see you.
Thank you, man. Hey, listen, according to the kid on YouTube, man, check me out. You know what I mean? If you had fun listening to this, keep listening to the guys because they're fucking phenomenal. But check me out as well. You know what I mean? Because I am also phenomenal. And make it a whole smorgasbord. Make this and my shit your parlay every day.
Well said.